This is now the live session of the M4 premiere here at Western BMW, Pennsylvania's #1 BMW dealer. Now with that, thanks again for watching the video. If you did miss it, don't worry, we're gonna go over some of that again right here in this particular one. But let's face it, you are not here for this. You are here for the new M4. So enough waiting. All right, let's get these cars out of the way and move in for the brand new puppy. Let's say the new king of the stable. Excited, I don't know what will. But let's not take it from me, let's take it from our head honcho, Jim Kosek. What do you think of this puppy?
Wow, JP, BMW's outdone themselves with this G82 M4. This is a breath of fresh air. Enough of my gibberish. JP, let's give the folks what they want to hear about the nuts and bolts of this car.
You got it, boss. All right, so with that, again, if you missed that earlier video, the one that was linked to this, that gave you a link to this one, we're gonna go over some of that stuff again right here in a little more depth. And to get us started on that, we're gonna start with Troy Perlman. Troy, can you tell us about the exterior and aerodynamics, please?
All right, thank you, JT. Thanks everyone for tuning in. First, we're gonna go over the design of the new G82 M4. And the first question when it comes to design, what are the new colors we got? So if you look on the color board over here, we have our M4 launch color, which is Sao Paulo yellow. And then we go over to our M3 launch color, Isle of Man green. Then we have our frozen Portimao blue metallic, our Brooklyn gray, and missing is oxide gray and tanzanite blue on the top. And those four colors there, including oxide gray, are gonna be brand new colors to the M3 and M4. We've never seen them before on any BMW. And then if we go to the bottom, we have our obviously classic Alpine white, our black sapphire metallic, and then our Toronto red metallic, which we saw on the X3M and the X4M. All right. Everyone, now we're going to go over to our grill. We've discussed the 4 Series grill before, but we're going to look at it again because it has changed already. So we have the M4 grill, very different from the 430, the M440. As you can see, double ribbed, just like all the previous M cars that we have. And you're going to see it's a frameless grill, so it's all seamless. It kind of flows together. If you look at our M440 over in the corner, you'll see that it has a framed grill with the cerium gray, or you can get the 430 with the chrome grill. All right. Next, we're going to go to our air curtains right here. JP already mentioned, if you look inside, you'll see the 3 canard pieces in there. Usually they'd be on the outside of the vehicle, but they are on the inside. Makes the outside look a lot sportier and also helps forcing down the weight, all right? Next, we're going to go to our LED headlights, the adaptive LEDs with the laser lights. As you can see inside, we have our blue accents there. That does give it a nice look, and that is in the executive package. Then, on the hood, it's been fully redesigned. It's symmetrical with the new kidney drills, and it used to be called the hood bulge, and now it's just a new design, so we'll see if they can put a name to that one, all right? We're gonna come around to the side here, where you'll see our side grille has the M4 logo in chrome, and if you get the competition package, that's gonna be all blacked out. Mirror caps on the side, JP mentioned, it's gonna be our new design mirror cap for the M3 and M4. That will also turn black when it goes to the competition model, all right? And then on the bottom, we have our side skirt here. It's all black, and on the Alpine white, it really does fit the accents. That will be on all of the M3 and M4s. It's brand new, and it will wrap all around the car. You're gonna see it's gonna extend all the way to our rear diffuser. The rear diffuser has been redesigned. So if you look on the bottom, you see the black. And this is the standard version, the competition. You'll see that the exhaust will turn black as well. We're gonna come back to the exhaust. We're gonna rev that for you a little bit. But first, I'm gonna show you, we have our rear spoiler at the top. And then we have our massive BMW logo right here with the camera inside. If you see on the right, we have our standard M4 logo. If you get the competition package, it's gonna be in black and it's gonna say competition underneath. And then, of course, we have our WG on the left side. So Andrew's now, he's gonna rev the exhaust for us, give us a little taste of that. So first we're gonna do the regular, there you go. He's gonna rev that up. All right, there's one more, Andrew. There you go. All right, so we're gonna come around this side again. You're gonna see we have one last thing on the exterior. We have our carbon fiber roof with our slits in it. Really helps with the aerodynamics. And then some quick figures on the new style M4 compared to the F82 on the G82. We have a 3.5-inch longer vehicle here. We have 1.5 inches in the width. And then we also have 0.5 inches center of gravity lower. So one last thing, if you go to the trunk, you're gonna see we have 15.5 cubic feet, which is a ton of space, fit your golf clubs, fit anything you need. Now we're gonna go over to the chassis and to some of the wheel options with Matt. Take it away.
Hey Troy, thanks for introducing me. Hey guys, my name's Matt. I'm one of the product specialists here at West Germany BMW, and I'm going to be going over the chassis. This G82 M4 is currently weighing a little bit above 3,800 pounds. That's a little bit heavier than the previous outgoing generation, but that's due to reinforced safety panels, as well as Troy mentioned, this vehicle did get a little bigger, so that'll compensate for the extra weight that you're getting. Now you can see these staggered wheels, they look absolutely magnificent. Not only are they visually appealing, but they're also functional as well. The meaning means more grip you have on the road will give you better acceleration as well as braking. Also with the brakes, you can come over here, you can see that these are massive 6-piston rotors, 6-piston calipers up front paired with 380mm rotors. And it also is coupled with BMW's iconic single rear floating calipers with 370mm discs in the back. This vehicle has forged aluminum suspension, giving that the BMW dynamic traction that you always get that's associated with BMW M. I'm going to have JP come over and take and show you the heart and soul of this M4.
That's right. Thanks so much, Matt. With that, let's pop this puppy open and take a look at what makes this baby tick. So, at the heart of this car, we have the S58 engine. All right, that's the 3-liter turbo inline 6. What that does, this particular one is tuned out to 473 horsepower, 404 pound-feet of torque, and that's made into a 6-speed manual transmission. As I said in the previous video that was going underneath the car, it also has a dual clutch with that manual. So that dual clutch means 2 friction plates and 4 friction plates and 2 clutch discs in there to help put that power down and make it go as smoothly as possible. Now the other iteration you're going to get is the competition. That one's going to be same engine tuned up to 503 horsepower, 475 pound-feet of torque. That's going to be mated solely to an 8-speed automatic. The same one you find in the M5 and the M8. That's going to be in rear-wheel drive. In the future, hopefully sometime this summer, we're going to be coming out with the X Drive or the MX Drive version of these. That'll give you the option to decouple the front axle, giving you either rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive options for you. At this point, we believe that'll only be put toward an automatic transmission. So again, we'll see that in the future as it comes out, and of course, BMW will let you know as that comes out. Moving on to the engine itself, it does have 2 massive intakes, getting as much air as possible into this, shoving it into this with a giant turbo, and that is also a dual scroll turbo, making sure you have that power at a low RPM and gives you power all the way to the top. All the way on the right hand side here, you have your water to air intercooler. That cools it down, keeps the temperature nice and consistent. And then it goes into the inside of the engine where you have 5,000 PSI of fuel pressure, shoving those direct injectors and getting that fuel atomized as best as humanly possible, as well as that gives you a better burn, more power, as well as better efficiency. So that gets your fuel economy a little bit better and gets everything else going. I also talked about the exhaust to get that fantastic sound from this. That does that by having the exhaust flanges for the turbos. They're asymmetrical. And also, because there are 2 of them, they have the twin exhaust going down the side. So it's basically a true dual exhaust as you go back, giving you this fantastic sound coming out of this car. And again, I mean, I hope you get the chance to come in and at least drive one, because there's nothing like the way this engine feels, sounds. Speaking of engine feel, the crank has been completely redone, better balanced, and lost 3.3 pounds, giving it less rotational mass and making this engine rev as freely as any other in the past. Again, you gotta feel it to believe it. But enough of hearing about it. It's part of the engine. let's talk about what you, the driver, are going to experience. And the only way to find that out is to go inside to Andrew Fisher, and he's going to talk to you about what it's like on the inside for you.
Awesome. Thank you, JP, and welcome to the interior of the all-new BMW M4. As standard, you do get the M Sport seats. These are in the full black merino leather. Merino leather is standard with the new M3 and M4. There's a couple different colors you can go with as well. You can also upgrade over the M Sport seats to the carbon buckets. They'll weigh 21.1 pounds less in the overall weight of the vehicle. They will also be full carbon back powered, and they will have adaptive bolsters, also wintertime if you live in the colder climates. They will still carry over the M3 and M4 badge in the headrest from the previous generation, and on the carbon bucket seat, the headrest can be removed if you do track times, so you can take the helmet and you won't be banging off the back of the headrest. Coming down here, the star piece of the show. This is the 6-speed manual transmission. BMW stuck to their bread and butter. This is what they know best. As our competitors go to the automatic transmissions, we're still sticking with the manual. One of the last cars you can really do with it in, so for the driver experience, there's nothing better. With the all-new M3 and M4, below the red stop-start button, you have your setup in M mode. With the M modes, your standard M mode is the road mode. In road mode, just your normal everyday driving dynamics. Nothing too crazy with there. It'll keep all your safety features on, your cruise control working as well too. If I click on the M mode, I'm gonna switch it back to sport. When you go to sport, your live cockpit in front of you will change to a more aggressive styling, more like a fighter pilot kind of look. And also you have your RPMs in the middle, and then you're on the left and right side, you'll have your widgets. For the widgets, on the left side, I have my PSI and my oil temperature. On the right side, I have my horsepower and torque readout. If I click the control button on the side of the turning stalk, I actually can transfer through, so I can get my G meter up there as well. If I go through music, your setup, which I'll come to as well, and then also you will have your tire pressure for track day, so you can see if they're heating up or what your tire pressure is at. In the setup mode, if I click on the setup mode, this will be for these M1 and M2 buttons on the top of the steering wheel. These are carried over from the previous generation as well. A little bit of different style for the steering wheel, and then you also have the red highlights too, which is a nice feature as well. With the setup, you have your engine, gear shift assistant, chassis, steering, and brake. With the engine, you have your efficient, sport, and sport plus. That is going to be for the sensitivity of the engine, as well as the throttle response, as well as the valves and the exhaust will open and close depending what your mode you're in. For the gear shift assistant, this will be for the auto rev matching on the downshifts. In the previous vehicles, you did have to turn off your DCS, which is your dynamic stability control, all the way to disable that feature. Now you can keep it on or off as you please. Going over some of the chassis features, as Matt said earlier, you do have the dynamic dampers. These will go from Comfort Sport and Sport Plus. Great if you're on the street comfort. Obviously here in PA, the roads are awful with the potholes, but if you're on the track or doing some spirited back road driving, Sport and Sport Plus is definitely your way to go. For the steering, comfort normal. If you go to sport, that's going to make the steering weight a little bit heavier and a little more direct, going around corners and making sure you hit the apex perfectly. For the brakes, you'll be on the comfort. This is actually new for the M5, M8, and the M3 and M4. This will allow you to adjust the brake booster. So for comfort, just your normal driving mode. For the sport, it's going to make it a little more sensitive when you put your foot down the brake. Your braking feel and everything is going to change, but the amount that you can brake is the same between both, just depending how hard you want to push down on the pedal. For the interior colors, I have a couple in here since we didn't get the other interiors. We have the Kalima Orange, which is the merino leather as well too. It looks fantastic, and it'll also be black inserts in the middle. You have the Silverstone as well, which is carried over from some of our previous M cars. We've actually had it for quite a while too, of iconic color. And new for the M3 and M4 is the Yas Marina Blue. This was previously a paint color on the outside. When you get this, you will get yellow highlight stitching and yellow accents throughout the seat with some Alcantara as well. Also, one thing to recommend, there is no sunroof here. You do have the carbon fiber roof as standard on the M3 and M4, so none sunroof for this model at the moment. And then back to JP, he'll take you a little rest of the walk around, and we'll meet you over for the Q&A.
Thanks so much, Andrew. So, that is our basic walk around, just showing you kind of the ins and outs of this car. So that way, when you come to the dealership, you are in the know, you have everything you need. And don't forget, we are Pennsylvania's #1 BMW dealer at this time. With that, let's take one more little walk around this car just so we can see, again, all the great little features of this car until we start our question and answer in just a moment. Another thing we'll do as you go forward, we did have a photo contest that was going on. So a photo contest has a winner. We do finally have that winner. We'll get to that at the end of our entire question and answer in just a moment. So again, one last little look around the back. much for that, Franco. We really appreciate those revs. And with that, this is now our question and answer portion. So again, if you didn't catch me saying it on the walk around, we are at the end of this going to go over our winner, who will receive the new Apple Watch 6, as well as some other little bits and features from us. So thanks again for everyone who participated in that. In the meantime, let's get to a couple questions. What do we got?
All right. Thank you all for joining us on this live premiere. We have some questions. The first is, what colors do the M4 come in?
All right, as I talked about before, we had our Isle of Man green, our Sao Paulo yellow, frozen Portimao blue, Brooklyn gray, Oxide gray, Tanzanite blue, Toronto red, Alpine white, and black sapphire. So some of them are metallic, and then the Alpine white will be a flat color. And then the Portimao blue is also frozen, so that's like a matte. And frozen brilliant white is another one that's going to be a matte color.
Fantastic. Hopefully that answers our audience's question there. The next question is, what is the standard tire size?
I can get that. All right, so it doesn't matter whether you had the 18-19 combo or the 19-20 combo. All tires are going to be 275 fronts, 285 rears. The only thing that's going to change between those is the aspect ratio for the sidewalls. So as you get bigger wheels, the tire's sidewall is going to shrink a little bit, just so you can keep the same basic ratio for the speedometer and the main car, work the way it does. And I hope that answers that question.
Thank you, JP. Another live question that we have that's going on the feed is, what are the side skirts made out of? And can they come in any other material or colors?
Yeah. So the side skirts are made out of a plastic. So the side skirts are made out of a plastic composite. I believe if you get the M carbon exterior package. Yeah. So if you get the M carbon exterior package, those side skirts can change from that gloss black to a carbon fiber weave. I'm not sure if the weave's 1x1 or 2x2.
I don't think it's the same size. I think it's a different, smaller, right? It's not going to be as big as that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little smaller, but it'll still have the carbon fiber.
I hope that answers your question.
Thank you, and we'll do some more research as well and find out and clarify that as well. Great question. Another one we have is, what are the key differences between the previous M4 and the new generation M4?
So I could go over a little bit of those, and I know we have an M2 result by us as well. So between this and the previous M4, only thing you can really say is brought over is the Rondell and the M4 logo. Everything's changed from the ground up: suspension, transmission, engine, body panels, interior, exterior, and as well as the software. So there's really no comparison. For the engine wise, it is something similar. It is still an inline six. They are both twin turbo, rear-wheel drive as well, manual transmission. So the same kind of, I guess, say, underpinnings. But besides that, the wheel setup, the iDrive with the different traction controls. If you get the M Driver Professional package, the looks on the front, obviously not everyone's taste, but they are growing on everyone here at West German. They do look phenomenal. But besides that, a lot has changed. You really can't compare the two cars anymore.
Thank you, Andrew. Troy's going to add something to that.
I want to piggyback what Andrew said. The iDrive 7 is another thing that came new to the M4. In the previous F chassis, there was the iDrive 6 was in there, and same with the M2 and the M2 competition. So they were the iDrive 6. iDrive 7, whole new system. Everything integrates through the cloud with your email, so all of your settings are saved together. Even if you get into a loaner car or something, you'll be able to sync up your settings with those. So I hope that answers your question. Thank you.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. We have another one. This one's more of a personal preference. It says, what is better, the M2 or the M4? And how much of a price difference? So technically, someone got us on a two-part question here. Who would like to answer that?
I mean, I'll go with the M2 and M4 part. So between M2 and M4, they're not the same car at all. They don't share anything similar: transmissions, engine. Same thing with kind of the old M4, the new one. But with the M2, it's more of an enthusiast car. It is a smaller two-seater car. More be fun, throw around. Not that you can with the M4, but this is more as a daily vehicle. You can drive it any day of the year. And then, of course, with the all-wheel drive version coming out as well, that's definitely a big advantage for customers up in the Northeast, where they can't take their cars out in the winter time.
We'll have JP answer the price part.
Oh, I was going to say the price point I wasn't 100% on off the top of my head, but it's all right. But I also can say, like, comparing the two together, like, they're both fruit, but they're not the same at all. It's like, saying, well, there's grapefruit and there's an apple. They're in the same family, but they definitely do not, do the same thing. Especially because there's so much newer technology just to get traction down, like the ARB system, integrated brake. All this makes the newer M4 and M3 completely different beasts compared to the older ones. So the older ones didn't have a way to put that traction down, but with ARB, it's basically a new version of traction that uses light, literally fiber optics, to transmit all the information directly to the ECU 10 times faster than anything before with the older Ethernet cables. So just the way it puts power down, the way it handles, the way it's built is just completely different and a different league altogether.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Does anyone else have anything to add to?
Yeah, on the price aspect of everything, I know this is more along the lines of a base model. This starts at $71,800, I believe. I believe there's roughly like a $10,000 difference between these two models. Yeah, like low 60s for the M2 competition. And then basically, don't piggybacking off what both of them said. The technology is very similar in the outgoing M4 generation, so those are a little bit more comparable technology-wise. The new one's got a ton of advanced tech.
Perfect. And we have another question from one of our audience members. Blah, blah asks, besides the obvious engine and performance, what are the pros of the competition package?
So obviously, I'll go one part. You can do the second part with the actual performance difference. So the main difference for me, at least, I'm big on the looks and making those mirror caps black, the side gills black, and the rear spoiler and the exhaust tips. That's a huge thing for me. I love the all blacked out look, especially if you go with one of the other colors like the Isle Line green or the Frozen Portobello blue. I think that's a huge difference for me.
So cosmetically appealing. Go ahead, JP. What do you have to add on to that?
And as for performance, like I said when I was going over the engine, I mean, the base one, you're talking about 473 horsepower versus 503. That's not going to be as big a difference, but the torque matter between the two, you're talking about 404 pound-feet of torque versus 475 when you move up to the competition. That and also the 8-speed automatic transmission. In terms of actual 0 to 60, BMW quotes it as the standard 6-speed manual is 4.1060, whereas the competition can do it in 3.9. And I can only imagine that's only going to get faster as we add the all-wheel drive later on this year as well. So, I mean, it's really, as you go competition, you're obviously trying to get a little more track-oriented in the way that you do things. You're more worried about those tenths of a second versus the enthusiast package, which is, of course, the 6-speed. And that's what you do, and you want to roll the gears, you want to be in control, and it's not just about pure numbers, it's about how it makes you feel. So that's what I basically have.
Wonderful. I love it, JP. You actually just answered another question that someone had, which was the engine size and horsepower also is a manual transmission available. So hopefully everyone was just listening to that. Another question I was just thrown in there said, is the engine an inline 6? And I think everyone knows. Go ahead.
Yes.
All right, fantastic. Now, when will, the next question is, the M3 Touring, will it come to the U.S.?
So right now, nothing's really confirmed. It's all speculation. The chassis would be coded G81. We haven't heard anything officially, but there is a lot of speculation that there might be a North American model.
And the M3 Touring and M3 Wagon, for argument's sake, is the same question.
And guys, what do you all think of the wagons?
Oh, please bring it back.
We all love the wagons.
We want to see the wagon.
Next, does and will the M4 come as a hybrid, or will it in the future?
So I'll take the beginning of this and you can kind of extend on it. So obviously with the way the market's going, you're going to see a lot more electric cars coming into play. And I'm assuming that they're going to come out with a mild hybrid system first for an M car, and then eventually go to full electric, maybe give you different options. I know there's been rumors of a full electric, maybe something like an i4M. I know you mentioned that, so JP, if you want to extend on that.
Yeah, so for anyone who's not really been taking a look at BMW lately, they do have a separate little thing. So obviously they have Mini, as you know, another sub-brand, but they also have a little section called I Performance, and that's the where they started with the i3 and the i8, and now they've sort of expanded. Soon they'll be coming out with the iX, which is based off the X5 in terms of size, but nothing else is really the same. That one's going to have about 500 horsepower, go 300 miles in terms of electric range. So, I hate to use the term Tesla killer, but it's BMW. What other people do well, we do fantastically. It's just not the same caliber. And of course, as we move forward, we also have the i4 that's going to be coming out later. And there's also, big speculation about something like an i4M, and they're going to
Who knows? Maybe it could have 1,000 horsepower. We don't know, but obviously that's something that we're excited to hear more about as it comes out, and we look forward to hearing more about that. I just want to say one more thing on that, just to extend.
Go ahead, Troy.
One thing I know me and management and other geniuses have talked about before is like BMW sometimes will wait to do something, but they always perfect it. Like someone can come out with something first, for example, the remote engine start, and there will be a lot of flaws with it. When we come out with something, we back our product, and it's perfect. So I just wanted to say that about that.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Really quick, we do have another question that asked if we could do this slowly. What is the horsepower on the regular M4 versus the competition again? Horsepower and torque. Take it nice and slow for our audience, please.
Sure. Sorry. So yeah, I get really excited. I talk fast, so I apologize for that. So slowing it down as much as humanly possible. These things start. I'm just kidding. The base BMW M3 and M4 start at 473 horsepower, 404 pound-feet of torque. That will be mated to a 6-speed manual only. Then when you move up to the competition, that's going to be boosted up to 503 horsepower and 475 pound-feet of torque, but that will only be with an 8-speed auto, not a manual transmission, because the manual transmission can't handle that power as it is right now.
Right. But the MX Drive version, when they come out, you'll be able to get that in the standard M car, the standard M4, M3, and you'll be able to get that competition with the MX Drive. So that'd be how I'm doing.
Fantastic. We have another question. I love the grille on the previous M4. Is there an advantage with how the grille is set up on the new model, or is it just aesthetically pleasing?
So a lot of people have been commenting on the grills, a lot of mixed feelings. It is functional, as you can see. I think Troy pointed out when he was covering the grill. There's a lot of airflow that comes in through those big two pieces, and it's really beneficial for cooling in the system. BMW did design a car to have a ton of cooling in it, just to make sure for overheating and stuff. So, other than that, I mean, they are functional. Cosmetic. They do look like they might be cosmetic, but they are functional.
So not only is it visually pleasing, but it is functional as well. Thank you so much.
I actually think it has the safety functions a little bit more too. Like when you like for the frontal collision,
The crash bar and so on.
it definitely hides massive thing.
When will the X-Drive version be released?
Sometime this summer. That's what they're saying. We don't have an exact date. Just keep in tune by looking at BMWUSAnews.com. That's BMW's North America's official website. So if you want to know anything, that you better hear it straight from the horse's mouth. That's where you get it from them. So if it's coming out, it's probably going to be there first. Another little place that has a good way of finding out is something called Beamerfile. Beamerfile.com. They're another great little source to kind of get it for people that aren't in BMW. Our Western BMW.
That's it. And thank you so much for that, JP. And will the European delivery be offered again after COVID is over?
Yes.
I think we can all say yes on that one.
Currently, the Performance Center delivery is available for Eastern region. So it's available basically if you're buying a North American car and you live somewhat on the East Coast, you could go down to South Carolina, our plant, and then if you're West Coast, if you're viewing from the West Coast, then you would go to the delivery Performance Center in Thurman. European delivery, you just go out to the factory in Munich and take delivery, lay first eyes on the vehicle that you build.
Straight from the source.
Yeah, and what's nice about going to the European delivery, you get, or any of the delivery centers where you go to, you'll be able to drive their version of the car so that you don't have to beat up your own car on the track. Have fun for a week, 2 weeks, whatever it is, however long you want to stay, and then ship your car back, come back with it, and then get a fresh, brand new car.
And one last question we just got up so we can wrap this up and announce our winner. We have, is there an app for remote start for the new M4?
Yes. Yes, but not with manual.
Makes sense. So that is a yes without the manual, so the competition automatic. Thank you. And who would like to announce our lucky winner?
Hello, everyone. My name is Franco, one of the new car sales managers here at West German BMW. And we want to congratulate Christopher Stigler. We'll be reaching out to you in the next 48 hours or so you can come pick up all of your wonderful prizes. Thank you so much for joining our event, and this is
JP, take us away.
All right. So just want to finish up by saying, once again, thank you so much for being with us with West German BMW. We appreciate you, all our subscribers, everyone new to the channel. Again, just thanks so much. And what's it? And don't forget, West German BMW, #1 dealership in Pennsylvania. Come on down here and see the new M4 in person. Thanks again for coming.
Cut it out.